Hey guys, it's Pastor John here. I wanted to take a few moments to just share some thoughts about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I think this took everybody by surprise. My wife and I on Tuesday night were actually just watching a video of him addressing some students at Washington State University on the other side of the state here in Washington, and just really impressed by his knowledge, how patient he was, his ability to articulate things clearly. Seemed like a great guy and a brother, somebody who professed to believe in Christ as Lord, believed in the doctrine of sin and the death and resurrection of Christ, the deity of Christ. He was a brother. And Tuesday night watching him. And then Wednesday we have our church staff meeting, and I start seeing the news on social media that he's been shot at that speaking event in Utah. And then later, like all of you heard that he had died. And it just seems unreal. There's so many things about it that just seem, it's just hard. It's hard to believe it's happened to him. And so I wanted to just kind of talk about some of the things that have been going on in my head, and maybe it'll help you make sense of the things that are going on in your head. The first thing I think of is just sadness. I saw the picture of him and his wife, and I think they had 2 kids. And what is it like to watch your dad get shot, or to know you grew up as a kid knowing that your dad got shot for what he believed? That's hard. And for his wife now raising these 2 kids by herself, it's not something she ever asked for or wanted or desired, but here she is. And just sad for them, sad for their loss, sad for the loss of a husband, for the loss of a father, and what that's going to mean for that family for, as long as they live. It's just sad, and sad to lose a brother, sad to lose a fellow Christian, a guy who was outspoken about truth and the gospel. So there's lots of sadness. There's lots of anger. It was wrong. It was objectively, morally wrong, evil, reprehensible. It's disgusting. And it is absolutely disgusting to see online people who are celebrating his death. That is just vile, absolutely vile. And I think of the Psalms, the imprecatory Psalms, in which the authors are crying out to God to bring judgment. And that's a very appropriate thing for us to do right now, to cry out to God. That God would bring judgment, that he would bring this killer and whoever else was involved to justice. The guy responsible for this deserves to lose his life. It's as simple as that. And it's never our job to take justice into our own hands, but it is our job to ask God to bring justice. And so we should be praying that God would hunt down this guy and bring him to justice. So there's anger there. There's fear. I was just talking to a guy not too long ago today, a couple minutes ago, and he was just sharing with me. He's like, hey, Charlie got shot for what he believed. And we believe the same thing. I believe the same thing. You may have some different ideas about how faith and and politics interact, but at the end of the day, you believe the same thing he believed. You believed in, if you're a Christian, you believe in right and wrong and good and evil. You believe Jesus is the Son of God. You believe that God created us male and female, and that those two things can't be exchanged. You believe in biblical standards of morality, particularly sexual morality. You believe these things. You believe the same things he believed and he said. And they shot him. And so there's a concern, a fear. It's like, what are they going to do next? If they shot him because he believed these things, are they going to shoot us because we believe these things? And I think there's a lot of people who are concerned about that. There's a lot of fear. So sadness over what happened, anger, and concern and fear. I think those are things that everybody is dealing with. There's something else that I want to say, and I think it's important to understand this, that there is a direct connection between the ideology of the left and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I know that some people want to disagree and push back on that, but I can't not say that. When you're at the center of your ideology is the sacrifice of the unborn, the sexual mutilation of children, when you believe those things and you have a worldview built on those things, then assassinating somebody who disagrees with you is perfectly consistent with that ideology. And I think it's really important. We need to say that there is evil in our country, and evil isn't just this impersonal like fog that's floating around. It's ideas. It's godlessness. It's godless ideas. And those ideas lead to actions. And so we've seen all sorts of demonizing of conservatives, demonizing of men, demonizing of white men, demonizing of Christians. You're seeing the rhetoric. There were multiple attempts at assassinating our now president, Trump. There is just evil on the prowl. And the evil that we witnessed in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, that evil is part of the leftist ideology and worldview. It just is. You just need to say that. That doesn't mean they're the only evil, wicked people in the world, but there is something uniquely evil about this movement. And that wickedness is revealed and exposed in Charlie's assassination. And that's a terrible thing. One of the things that this confronts everybody with is the objective reality of evil. There is no neutrality. We don't live in a world in which good and evil are just preference, but they're real things and they have real consequences. And there is real evil in this world. And we see it and we experience it. But the Bible tells us that we're not alone. There's even that evil in us. But we're not alone, and we're not entirely powerless for that. There is hope. God gives us hope. God gives us strength. We don't need to be afraid because Christ is Lord, and He has conquered death on our behalf, and that is our hope. But you got to know evil's real. Sin is real. And it's got to be dealt with, because if you don't deal with it, it's going to deal with you. And so, lastly, I want to invite you. I want to invite you to go to church this weekend. If you've got a solid Bible-believing church that you maybe have visited and haven't gone to for a while, please go back there. Go back to that church. If you're in Kitsap County, if you're in the Bremerton area and you don't have one of those churches, we'd love to have you at Cormdale Church. Evil is real, but God has an answer for that evil, and that answer is Christ. And that is the most important thing right now for us to know and for us to cling to. So I want to encourage you, come to church this Sunday, go to church this Sunday, and remember that Christ is Lord. All right, I hope you're doing okay, and we'll talk to you soon again.